Welcome to CS Radio. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 235 of CS Radio. I'm J. Michael DeAngelis.
And I'm Natty Leach. Perpetually amazed that you know what episode number it is.
Well, I do a little research before every episode.
Oh, we can do that?
We can. Just before we were recording, Lorna was asking me if after 235 episodes and 11 seasons, if it takes a lot of energy to think up what we should talk about each week.
Yes.
Yes. Do we expend that energy? Sometimes.
I'm just always worried that, like, I try to think of how recently did we talk about whatever thing, because sometimes it feels like
That's just what I said.
not only are we having these conversations in a podcast form, but we also have these conversations
daily,
every single day in every single meeting we're in.
So because this is not a show where people are going to like dig back through the archives, maybe for certain things, certain guests or certain special episodes, but if we cover resume best practices once a year, that's fine because we're getting a new audience all the time. But just you and I have to remember, well, when was the last time we talked about resumes? Was it a year ago? Okay.
Or was it last week?
2 episodes ago? Let's not repeat ourselves.
Yes.
So
today we'll be interviewing Lorna.
No, we did that last week.
Wait.
We did that last week. So today we're going to do one. I don't think we've done quite this before.
I think we've done this as a smaller mini segment in other things that we've done, but I don't know that we've done like a full-blown review of this topic.
So we're going to talk about some career services hidden gems. We were having some lunch upstairs earlier.
Did you crowdsource this?
Well, so Dustin asked me what we were going to talk about on the show today.
He's a nosy fellow.
And I said, career services hidden gems. And he went, oh, Dustin Miller.
Well, kind of.
I said it's not hidden enough.
Yeah.
Everybody knows already.
Yeah. You're on a mountaintop. You're on the beach.
Right,
all over our
over
social.
Yeah. Dustin, a real star of social media. Was it? It was definitely Dustin. Did this happen to you too at the fair? Someone went up to Dustin and said, "Are you Dustin? I recognize you from social media. I recognize you from your videos."
I did not hear about that.
Yeah.
He also has his own.
I know he does his own food reviews, but I think
side.
they were specifically referring to the career services content that Dustin
the skiing
creates.
video.
He's sort of been the face of the engineering team on our socials.
True.
So he's done some great stuff.
Yeah. So Dustin is the number one hidden gem.
And I was going to say we've got high hopes. You're in charge of our Halloween content this year, and you're a big Halloween guy. I assigned you that date specifically to torture you. I mean, to see what you could come up with.
So the problem is I have a lot of ideas, but most of the things that I would do related to those ideas are at my house in action. They're actively being used for Halloween.
And I said, if Dustin can climb a mountain and shoot a video,
that's true.
You could shoot in your house.
You're
there anyway.
I just like to compartmentalize my life.
I know. Unfortunately, I've ruined that for you in so many ways. So, hidden gems.
I have a few in mind. Dustin wasn't one of them, but I have some extra ones.
All right. Well, throw one at me.
All right. Hidden gem number one, I feel like, has been coming up more and more in appointments for me lately. It's something that I've always thought about, but now I'm starting to think of it as this is a great first step to networking.
Oh.
And that gem is, I think, the People tab in Handshake. I think
it's
a really great way to introduce yourself to networking in a low-stakes, risk-free environment where you're mostly reviewing your peers. Maybe an upperclassman who interned at a company that you're really interested in. Maybe it's a friend that you knew maybe had that internship, or someone you have a class with and you didn't realize they did something cool, that you can now strike up a conversation with that person and learn a little bit more about what that thing is. Handshake is also a really big platform. It's used by most schools and colleges in the U.S. at this point. So you could potentially crowdsource and see things from people outside of Penn. However, it'll usually weight the Penn people up front. There's also a filter. I usually tell people filter on University of Pennsylvania, put graduating year for this year. I've been telling people 2026. And then you can put in the filter. You can say, I want to find people who worked at Google. I want to find people who interned at Sony Music or Goldman Sachs. And you'll get a list of Penn people who had that on their profile.
Yeah, and we did talk about this on one of our recent episodes. So.
Yeah, I think I brought it up because I just suddenly realized, because I hadn't been really using it all that much in the
you've
past.
you've been very pro this semester.
Yeah, that's my new thing.
And I do think, yes, I mean, we talked about it, and I know you and I did an in-person program where this came up, and I was thinking, yeah, because approaching one of your peers who you might be in a class with or you might know through a club or other extracurricular is a lot less daunting than reaching out to an alum or to a recruiter, and you can just strike up a conversation because you already have something mutually in common or you're mutual friends. And you're like, hey, by the way, I saw that you interned at Sony. That's like sort of really what I want to do this summer. What was that like? What's your advice?
And I think people are most scared about is reaching out to someone they don't know. So if you are looking at Handshake and you see a familiar face, I think that helps so much. Also, you can always do all the same things that we always say about asking them, like, at the end of the conversation, is there anyone else who you think would be good for me to talk to? And they might say, oh, you know what, my manager was really great. I had a great mentorship connection with them. Let me put you in touch with them. And then you have a direct connection at that company even. I've also heard a lot from students the idea of like, oh, it feels so disingenuous. I'm reaching out to these people and they know I want a job. And I'm just asking these questions about trying to figure out how to get a job. I think it removes some of that from it because really, like, these people cannot give you a job. They have no stake whatsoever in terms of like
9 times
handing you
out
an
of 10,
opportunity.
Right? It's definitely
they
not.
were just an intern there. Even in the highest chance that they were their senior who accepted a return offer, they don't have any of the capital yet to get you in for an internship. They don't know the right people for the process. But they might know who their manager was before and put you in touch with them, even if they themselves can't actually do anything. Or they can tell you all their experience. What's a project that they love to work on? What did they realize the best interns were able to take part in that they think you should focus on as well? What helped them in the interview process? All those things can be super useful. And then you get out of your own head of feeling like, oh, I'm not really being genuine with this process. And instead you can actually bring your real self to the conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's a great one, and yes, and I think the recent revamp of that has just made it extra user friendly.
Yeah, it's been the searchability of it is much better now. You could message them directly in Handshake if you wanted to, but we also have the Penn email directory that you could put their name in and send them an email. Or, like we said, if you know the person,
you know them already. Yeah,
stop them on Locust Walk or something.
Yeah. All right, good hidden gem.
Yeah, that's the first one that came to mind. What about you?
Well, I'm thinking of a couple, and honestly, one that is it a hidden gem? Not particularly hidden.
It's not hidden,
but I don't think it's utilized to its fullest extent by our students. I think every time I show a student this, they're like, "Oh, yeah, wow, I should start right here," but they're not always finding it on their own.
Okay,
and that is our career communities on the website.
Yeah.
So if you go to our homepage, we have a little menu that says communities, and then they're broken out into industry and student communities. We have something like 30 different industry groups. Some of them are hyper-specific, some of them are slightly broader. So we have something that's like life sciences, that's pretty broad.
And there's like marketing, advertising, and PR.
Right. And then you've got something as granular as like galleries and museums.
Yeah.
Right? So something nursing, right? Things that are a little more refined. But it covers pretty much the breadth of things that our students are interested in, that they go into, whether that's in large groups or small. You know, we have good data on what our students go into. And so that's how we sort of built these out. And so the things that you'll find in these communities, you know, you'll find a real basic industry overview. You'll find some tips about networking, but then you'll get into some real specific stuff. Every industry community has its own resource section that has resources just for that industry. So, for example, I manage the fine arts, music, and performing arts industry. Mm-hmm. So I've spent a lot of time curating the resources for that. So the job boards that are specific to fine arts, performing arts jobs, and you know, there's some for each, right? So like there's Arts Bank for fine arts jobs. Playbill has a job board for performing arts jobs. There are, you know, exploration resources. There are featured employers that's the other big thing that I really like about the industry communities. If you click into an industry community, you will also see the 5 or 10 most recent jobs in Handshake that we're highlighting in that community. So every week I go in, I look at what comes in through Handshake, like, oh, this is great. Oh, Fringe Arts is looking for interns. Let's do that. Oh, the Smithsonian's already accepting applications for their internship program. Let's do that. I know last week I saw the Arden reopened up. I think they've got an extra opening in their internship program, and you can start that right away. So there's always exciting things happening, and it's great too because, I think at a first thought, sometimes students go, oh, well, career services, they're going to have all the Goldman jobs, they're going to have all the Bain jobs, the consulting, the finance, like those are the people who are coming to campus, and that is true, but as Natty said, Handshake is this massive job board, and a lot of schools are using it, so a lot of employers are in there. It's a huge, huge network of employers. And so what we're doing is we're just springing up right up front. Here's 5 things that you could apply to right now in all those different industries. So every industry page you go to is going to have that highlighted job section. Also, if there is an industry-specific event coming up, so for example, in the end of October, we're going to be doing a Jumpstart Your Arts Career program with all the folks who do summer funding for arts and entertainment-related careers. That's highlighted in the upcoming events on that page. We might have something specific if an employer is coming. There's a lot of consulting coffee chats right now. Those are probably being highlighted on the consulting page. So they're quick. They're great jumping off points. You can see all the different resources that are either offered directly by us, Penn Career Services students, or they're external links to other things that we recommend, things that you can do. And then what's really nice, too, is we're able to tag the entire websites based on this tagging system. So if we have a blog...
I love the student story section of all this is really great.
Yeah, so if you've looked at our website, we do a lot of student stories. It's mostly people who's received funding from us or participated in one of our career exploration fellowships. So if somebody did an arts or entertainment career and they wrote their blog about it, then that's going to show up there. If we do a special video, that's going to show up there. And then something else is going to show up there, but I'm saving that whole category as another hidden gem.
I was going to say, it's a great hidden gem that you have early on because that's where we hide all
That's
of
where
our,
we hide everything. So I've got
gems.
a whole section within those that I'm gonna hide for later.
Yes, because many of the things we talk about will go there in some sort of way. It's a great starting point if you're just starting to think about an area and you don't really know ideas. Maybe you can think of some of the bigger companies offhand, but we also try to tag some of the smaller things. You mentioned the Arden. I've seen things tagged there. There was like a wig and costume apprenticeship.
Yes.
And like things are just so hyper specific that like maybe you didn't think about that before, but if you want to be in performing arts or the theater arts here in Philadelphia, that's an amazing opportunity.
And I want to throw out too, there's a really important part of this that I didn't mention. You can subscribe to these communities.
That is true.
So on every community page, there's a button up at the top that says customize your newsletter. And so
you choose how frequent even.
Every Penn student is on our mailing list, but you have a lot of control about what information you get. If you don't do anything, you're just going to get this hodgepodge from across all of the communities. But you can go in and you can say, oh, send me the newest jobs and events from this community or these 3 communities, these 5 communities. Send me information about, I'm also an athlete, so make sure to send me information on anything that's tagged for athletes. Anything like that, you can really go in. And yes, as Natty said, by default, we send out newsletters on Friday, but you could get alerts every day if you really wanted it, or you could go down to just once a month.
Yeah, don't do every day.
That's probably too much.
Because then you'll grow numb to it all, and then what's the point?
Then you'll be Natty.
Yeah, and don't be me.
So I highly encourage you to take advantage of that. That's something, again, that once people see that they can do that, they're like, oh, holy cow. It's also at the top of every newsletter.
So not so hidden.
No, but underutilized.
Yes, and there are so many gems within it that could be hidden.
So give me your next gem and tell me where you hit it.
Well, so I had another one that wasn't all that hidden too, but I think it's a great resource that we have, and it is well used already, but I think when students realize we have it, they get excited about it is our photo booth in our office. And it is front and center on our website. We have people who are just staff members who know about it and come and use it. Really, any person in the Penn community, if you can get into the building, we're open 9 to 5. You can come and take 5 minutes to take a quick headshot in the photo booth we have in our office. It's all self-service. It does a great job of giving you some suggested poses. I almost said suggestive poses.
No,
it doesn't do that.
No. Let's be very clear.
It doesn't do that. But if you have like glasses, it'll say, "Oh, try taking your glasses off so there's not a reflection," or try leaning in just a little bit,
pose,
or
yes.
Did it tell you to do yours? You have your hand.
No,
like
I did that to be silly, and then everyone was
J.
like,
Michael
"I love
original.
it." So now,
and now that photo is everywhere.
I'm sure it's the thumbnail of this YouTube video is me doing that.
Yeah, actually, I think it is.
Yeah.
But there's some light filtering options, so you don't go full sepia tone or something. You can do just like a little bit of adjustments. I think you can do some red eye removal and some touch-ups here and there. It also will just email it to you directly right after, and you can then, if you want to do some extra editing, you can, or you can just then use it to crop it as you need for LinkedIn or whatever you want to use the photo for.
Yeah, and a huge shout-out. That initiative was and continues to be funded by the Undergraduate Assembly as well as GAPSA, which is the Graduate and Professional Student Assembly.
Yeah, it is so frequently used. Like every day I see people going in there to use it, but I think it can continue to be even more used. I just say if you have a group, just let us know. We can reserve it ahead of time for a group.
We got a group coming in next week.
Nice.
As I've got a booking. So, we do allow large groups to reserve it. It's really great, but otherwise, it's open while we're open, so Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. Just need a Penn card to be able to get into the building, and then you can come on up and help yourself.
Yeah.
All right, so it's back to me.
Yeah, I mean, I got more, but go ahead.
So while we're on the topic of the industry and communities, embedded within each of those sections is a selection of courses from LinkedIn Learning.
I thought I knew where you're going, but this wasn't what I thought you were doing, so that's good.
And this, I think, is a really super underutilized offering that we make. It's something that I think we could do better highlighting and refreshing. I spent some time yesterday refreshing the ones for my communities because there's constantly new courses being added.
It's amazing, and they're also very, very specific. So if you ever feel like there's a skill you don't have yet, but you see it as being something that jobs are asking for, that's the place you can get it.
I'm gonna make 2 plugs. One, we've curated some by industry, and it's hard. Like I was, as I said, I do fine and performing arts, and it can get hyper specific. There's a ton of courses on like how to use Photoshop, how to use Adobe, how to use Logic Pro. So if I can find some like starting points, I'll highlight those, and then you can go deeper as you need and just try and keep things top level as what's highlighted. There's stuff about starting a podcast. There's even stuff about, I even put something up, I put a dance class up there. It's so wide ranging, and it's something that Penn students have access to in general. You don't have to get it off the Career Services website. We're lucky enough that our website platform integrates with it, so we're able to highlight things and pull them out. But that is something that's offered through the Penn libraries, and you can go in and take full advantage of all of what LinkedIn Learning has to offer.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. A lot of students will want to get financial modeling experience in my side of things for the Wharton students, but they may not have done that quite yet in classes, especially early on. They won't do it until many times junior year at the earliest. They might be doing accounting first or something like that, but they know that an internship would love to see that. That's a place where you can start to see it. There are exact ones on here's exact financial modeling course. Here's a particular type of financial model that you can use. Like we even have on our website too some tags for like leveraged buyout models and how to use them. And we have a sample one that our GA made. But LinkedIn Learning is a good way to go even beyond that and dive deeper into one particular subject or even a broad collection. I really like the ones that are like, oh, you're interested in being a product manager. Here are the skills that are great for that in ways that you can learn more, and it kind of is broken into a few videos to walk through.
Yep. It is super great. Actually, I just put a couple up on the community that were almost a little bit intangible, but I think they fit well into this community. It was like how to be a creative thinker.
Yeah, I like those are the ones I like the
Yeah.
most. I mean, the ones I've used the most myself are like, oh, I've never used InDesign. Let me look a little
So
bit
I
more,
need some
or
quick
whatever it
step by
is.
steps
Yeah.
on how to make this work.
But the ones
yeah.
that intrigue me the most are those ones.
Yeah, those
for
sort of like
sure.
masterclass type
Yes.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely take advantage of that, and it's on the career services to-do list probably for summer 2026 to make sure everybody is added at
Has
least
some new
a
ones.
few new courses so things don't get stagnated. It is tough. Our vendor was like, oh, we could just set those to auto-publish, but I'm like, there's just too many. There's just so many thousands of courses on LinkedIn, and some may or may not apply. Also, there were things, not that it doesn't apply, but like I would say the majority of the things that came in tagged for the fine arts community was like AI.
Yeah.
And like, well, I don't want it all. Like if I set it to auto-publish, then it would be 20 things about that, and then that throws the weighted balance off of us trying to offer a well-rounded sampler.
Yep. Speaking of the Penn libraries, one of the ones that I wanted to highlight, which is not necessarily unique to us because it is through the libraries, but I really like Lippincott Libraries' collection of resources. I think that's a fantastic one that people miss all the time because Lippincott Library is Wharton's library, but it is open to the entire university. They have really great librarians there that'll help you look at and figure out how to use those resources, but they have them broken down by industry because they are within Wharton. They have a sense of, we're going to highlight things by industry or by company information, and they have really good industry best products there. They have Cap IQ and PitchBook and Hoover's D&B databases. Those are all really good ways to learn more about and research companies. Sometimes like PitchBook is a great example of if you're looking at startups, you don't know a startup until they're not a startup anymore most of the time.
Well, sure, yeah.
So PitchBook could be a good way. Maybe you see a job posted and you're like, I haven't heard of this company before. They say they're a startup. Go to PitchBook. See who did their most recent round of funding. What was a VC firm? Who was it? How much was it for? Are they profitable right now? Are they still in whatever stage? What are recent news stories about things that they've done that are out there? Who are similar competitors to them? In what space are they in? Who are companies that are both similar in terms of size, but also the types of offerings that they have? So I think that's an awesome way to look at things and do research from an industry perspective if you're trying to think about new job search material, but also wanted just really a true hidden gem that I think almost nobody really considers unless you already know about that resource.
Yeah, and they're nestled within the same building that houses Van Pelt, right? So it's all one main location to go to, and of course they offer a lot of that digitally.
Yes. I think you can even like schedule a quick session with one of them
on
their website quickly.
For sure.
But I usually try to go to their databases tab on their website, and then they have a company information is what it says, and it has a lot of those databases specific to finding and learning more about companies. But they'll have even more specific stuff if you look by a particular. You could look for like private equity resources or sales and trading. Like they have all sorts of different industries through there that are cool to look at too. Kind of similar to our communities, but much more tailored and specialized just from a resource perspective, and less of all the other moving parts that we try to include.
Cool. So I have one that's so hidden.
Oh my gosh.
That if you went to look for it right now, you wouldn't find it. But by the time this drops, it'll be there.
Okay.
You're like, Newton.
Fascinating.
Like, what is he talking about?
I have no idea.
Collections.
There are collections.
There
are.
Well, there are collections, but
I was told at staff meeting this morning that there are over 100 students already following one of our collections.
That is true. That is true. But the majority of our collections are currently hidden.
That is true.
So, what's the collection?
There's some good ones in there.
So, within the Handshake app or the desktop experience, there is a new tab called Collections. And also, if you're in the app, on your feed, on your main feed, you might see these collections come up. Some of them are being curated by Handshake, so those are live.
For your major sometimes.
And then some of them are being curated by our staff. They're similar, and they'll be connected to our communities because we're building a lot of collections around industries. But we're also doing some. So Natty already mentioned, we hit a little bit of a milestone. We have this collection of employers who are recruiting at Penn.
Yeah.
We have a collection. Another one that's live is employers who have come to the career fairs this year.
Oh, that's a great one.
Another one that's live is Jobs in Philadelphia.
That's a good one. I know Barb did a real estate one. I think is already live.
Yep,
right?
that was our guinea pig.
Yeah,
so our
test.
first industry test was real estate, accounting, and insurance, which aren't necessarily three things that go together, but there's three smaller concentrations or industries that we have some interest in, and they're sort of related. So Barb has created that collection, and she's really happy with it. She thinks she's able to get a much better result than what we were getting before in terms of jobs and employers. So we've got a whole bunch that are locked and loaded that are supposed to go live on Friday, and then eventually those will actually populate those featured jobs in the industry community as well. That'll be the next phase. But we've got enough kind of locked and loaded now that I'm ready to phase one this. And the goal is to make most of them go live on Friday. So you're going to start seeing some industry collections both for full-time and for internships.
Yeah, and students can follow those, right? Is that
you
what it
can
says?
follow those,
Yeah.
yep. So Handshake is going to suggest them to you based on the interest you've already said. So if you told Handshake that you're interested in real estate or in accounting, hopefully it's already suggested that collection to you, or it's popped up in your feed once or twice, and then you can follow it, and then it'll show up more often. You'll get email alerts. So I'm really excited about launching that full scale. It'll probably take us the entire school year to get all of the industries turned into collections, but this rollout is starting to happen now. So yes, there's a couple that are live, and then we're going to have like over a dozen live by the end of the week.
That's amazing.
So as you watch this, if I've done my job
Uh-oh.
before I go on vacation,
Uh-oh.
then
Pressure.
they'll be live.
Yeah, and it makes your life easier. I mean, that's one of the reasons I like the communities to begin with, where you don't always have to be generating ideas on your own. It's a place where
and
you
I
can
always
give
try
things
and
to you.
say it's a great jumping off point because we're only highlighting 5 or 10 jobs a week based on the communities, and some of those communities could have hundreds of jobs coming in.
Yeah.
On any given basis. So it's a great place to start and be like, oh, there are things out there, or at least get an idea of the employers who are hiring. And even that job isn't right for you, or the timing isn't right because maybe they've got a full-time job posted and you're only a sophomore. Star them, favorite them in Handshake, and you'll start to see whenever they post something.
And I also like, students ask me all the time, what are other companies I should look at? I think it's impossible to answer. I can't just say
well, let's look at the
oh,
board.
here's one company that just happened to come to the top of my mind right now.
Yeah.
When there could be 1,000 amazing ones that don't jump to my head that I've heard of in the past, and I just didn't say it that one time. But the collections could be a great place where you can see a sampling of all sorts of different opportunities from different companies that maybe you have heard of that are bigger names, and maybe some smaller ones that you haven't thought about yet too.
Cool.
Let me see. I had another one. Oh, this is one that is within a community already, one of the resources. I thought
Yes.
Exponent would be nice to highlight.
All right, that was on my list.
Okay. That's why I was holding it till later, because that's the one I thought you were alluding to earlier
all
that
right.
it could be found within.
Well, tell us all about it.
So, I mean, Exponent is a really great platform. It's one of those resources that we pay for students to have access to. It has lots of information on students who are interested in PM roles within tech companies, or a few other things. There's some data science roles and data analytics roles. I think kind of the leading way to think about it is jobs within tech fields as a whole, but they have some specialized ones like those that they really go in depth. Here's what the PM interview process looks like, or here are the companies that hire most in that area. Do they still have it? I really liked they had a referral tab where you could go to request to get someone to refer you in the future, because tech companies have incentives for employers or for their employees. If I were to recommend you to get hired, I'd get paid $1,500 if you actually got hired or something like that. So the people are already there and willing. It's a way different way of looking at it from the tech perspective, as opposed to any other industry really, where we mentioned earlier how there's that anxiety of like, oh, I'm going to ask this for a job, and they may not be able to actually give me the
these
job.
People are like, please ask me.
They
I'm
want
going to cash in on this.
Yes, and then they have a little bit more incentive as well to help you out with the process, because if you do get hired inevitably, there's some incentive for them as well. So I think it's a great win-win place where you can go and find some people there. The specialized resources for the interviewing is so great, though. To learn more about what that process is like, there's a bunch of videos, kind of like LinkedIn Learning, but specialized to this area, that you can do. And I think we were looking at the numbers, and it was less utilized than we'd like it to be.
Yeah.
And so we'd love for more students to take advantage of it. We have a good number of students, I think, who come to us every year. I mean, I at Wharton have students interested in those areas.
We know the interest there, which is why we'd love to see it get used more.
When I was on the college team too, so I think it's one of those areas that is spanning across all of the populations we serve.
And this is one, I don't know the date off the top of my head, but we just locked in. There's going to be sort of a overview and training workshop led by the folks from Exponent. That'll be a virtual thing that you can tune into. It'll be just for Penn students. And so if you haven't taken advantage of the platform yet, it'll be a great introduction for it. So just keep an eye on our events calendar. That'll be coming up soon.
Yeah. So that was one of my minds. Sorry to steal it from you. Did you have other ones?
I've got one more.
Okay.
I've got one more. And again, not quite hidden, but I think maybe not an obvious thing where that people look at, but I think that they should. And whenever I show it to people, they're like, oh, wow, there's a ton of stuff here. And it's our YouTube channel.
Oh, where we live.
Where we live. This is the home of CS Radio. You're watching this on YouTube right now. So obviously, a lot of our videos are right there on the website. CS Radio is always on the front page on Mondays. We have a video section where we highlight a lot, but not all, of that. And I do try and keep the sort of videos tab on our website current. I tend to drop things off after a year, so there's just not a lot of repeated stuff. And again, because the tagging system, stuff shows up in the community. So if you're in the like life sciences community, for a while it was like the videos there were prepare for Biosciences Fair 2025, prepare for Biosciences 2024, 23, like that's not very useful. But our YouTube channel is which the things sort of live forever there, and have been well organized. There's a lot of different categories you can go through. So we've got a just for graduate students section. We have a broad all programs and workshops section. We have something specific to the fairs. It's just a great repository for asynchronous stuff that you may have missed. A lot of them are recorded workshops that we did online, a few that we did in person that were recorded. So if you couldn't be there, the recording lives on. And then others, particularly the ones that the grad team prepare, those are sort of specially prepared videos that were not done in front of an audience. They're prepared for the YouTube channel. And so you get all that great long-form content there. And now, of course, there's also YouTube Shorts, so you can get all of our great social media content, because almost everything we post also goes onto YouTube Shorts now. So everyone in our office has been making some really great stuff. Our work study Carson has been interviewing students and catching them on the walk and asking them about their internships and asking them about what it means to be a leader. That was a hot topic recently. So those are all great, featuring student groups. We've been our pre-med, pre-law team does great content every week, including the pre-health coaches there. We had peer career advisors doing stuff. So there's a lot of fun, short digest stuff that you can pick up there too.
Yeah, I show people all the time, and this is less short and fun, but I show people all the time the consulting videos. We often will have our graduate assistants who are MBAs do some technical training for whatever their background is every year. So that we've had ones on finance. I just was meeting with a student yesterday who I showed the last 3 or 4 on there for consulting, which that's one where it actually can be useful to see all of them or take a look at all of them in the older ones, because lessons for casing, you're just getting the reps in.
That's right.
And each of those people will often say, like, here's how I approach casing, and here's a sample case
approach from different people.
From McKinsey, at my time at McKinsey, or my time at Bain, or my time at BCG. So it's a good way to get that perspective, and then also just continue to get reps in for what a new case looks like or what a new industry looks like too.
Awesome. Well, that was those were my hidden gems. Have we mined them all?
I'm sure there's more that we can save for a future episode.
Sure that there are. But yeah, those are all really high quality things that I hope people can take advantage of. And we'll link to as many of them as we can in the show notes, so you can dive right in. So, Natty, next week, you're going to have someone new in the hot seat. I'm going to be taking a little time off, and so our old pal Dustin Miller is going to be coming in. And
I have planned out already what we're going to talk about, but I haven't told Dustin, so.
Oh, okay.
He'll be ready.
All right. I asked him just today. I said, "Do you know what you guys are going to talk about?" And his response was, "Oh, I can't ask Natty to plan that far in advance."
Well, that's because usually he's like messaging me 3 months before we have to do something. Like, Dustin, I can't be thinking about that right now.
But here you are. You're ready.
Oh, I thought about this like weeks ago.
All right. I
just have a vague idea. Like
that's more than we usually have. So, well, I will be away, but Natty and Dustin, I'll see you next time.
We will play
on CS Radio. This podcast is produced by the University of Pennsylvania Career Services Office, a division of University Life. It was created by J. Michael DeAngelis and Amy Lynn Kirshner. Your hosts and producers are J. Michael DeAngelis and Natty Leach, and it's produced, mixed, and edited by Lorna Lynn. If you like this podcast, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on Instagram and Threads at Penn Career Serve. We'll see you next time on CS Radio.